So now let's talk about what we have on the 28th of June. And this is when Mars immediately enters Gemini. You see, once it enters Gemini, it's going to conjunct Uranus in Gemini. That's going to be very interesting. Mars is the planet that represents our activity, our action, our movement, us trying to pursue things. It's the planet of war. Okay. Uranus sitting there is when you have conjunctions, and that's when two planets are sitting next to each other. When you have conjunctions, there's some good and bad, okay? But it's very strong. So we will all feel this, okay? But when you have conjunctions, I want you to understand that, okay, good and bad. But when you have it sitting next to Uranus, is what I wanted to say. It could represent the intellect. It could also represent anxiety because it's kind of moving too fast, okay? A lot of weirdness as well, and also power to the people and rebelling when it comes to the power of the word, because you have that Gemini energy. Also, too, I want you to understand that Mercury is now the ruler of Mars, okay? And Mercury is in a pre-shadow phase of retrograde, and it's going to fully retrograde on Friday, at the end of the week. Is that Friday? Maybe at the beginning of next week. I have to look at the exact date. I will cover it in this video, though. But just know that it's retrograding, and it will it's pre-shadow phase retrograding, and it will fully retrograde, and it is the ruler of Mars. So things gets a little tossy-turvy and a little emotional because it's in the sign Cancer. I want you to know that. But Mars is the planet of action, motivation, conflict, courage, and drive. And when it enters Gemini, there's a lot of curiosity, a lot of energy, a lot of fast moving energy, highly communicative, wants to talk, okay? Very informative, a lot of conversations. People are more willing to speak their minds. This is the critic. This is the sharp tongue. This is very quick, very articulate, very easily distracted. Much ado about nothing, okay? Just all over the place, scattered energy, a lot of sarcasm, running off tangent, very smart though, very skillful, easily aroused with no staying power, could be very cynical, impulsive, again, talking too much. Gemini energy wants to have it all, but really is not that deep. Okay, it's very superficial, wants to know it all as well, but doesn't want to know it deeply. Okay. Increased communication and debates, major news cycles and information overload, a lot of traveling, commuting in your day to day, technology developments, increased activities on social media, greater focus on beginning learning, beginning teaching, or learning what you taught, okay? Teaching what you learned, okay? Writing and networking. People become more adaptable. It's a mutable sign. It is an air sign. Air is all about communication and socializing. Mutable means constant change, constant flexibility and adaptability, but also more scattered. Okay. Personally, there's a lot of mental energy, very curious, desire to start multiple projects at once. It is okay. I have a Mars in Gemini, so I can relate to Mars being in Gemini. In a very strong way. It is an energy of I can do it all. It is an energy of I can have it all. That's very Sagittarius, but I will try my best to do as many things as possible. I have so many social media uh, I want to say channels, but what are they? IG profiles, like a hair one, an art one, okay, an astrology one, a personal one. Okay. I was even going to have a cooking one. That's very Gemini. It is also the ruler of the rainbow, just multiple. I wanted all kind of energy, but very social, all about networking. A lot of confidence when it comes to speaking, writing, podcasting, teaching, content creating. Restlessness, though, has difficulty sitting still. If you guys know me and you see me at home, I cannot sit still watching TV. And if I am still, then I'll turn on the TV to fall asleep. Very anxious, restless. Could come across as very ADHD, even though I don't feel like I have ADHD because I feel like I can focus. But it does bring that, especially if it's going to conjunct Uranus. Okay. Taking a class though is really great around this time. Taking a workshop, launching a podcast, a newsletter, a YouTube series, learning a new skill, collaborating with someone, learning from someone who's even younger. writing, teaching, marketing, content creation, brainstorming, that energy. But around this time, there's going to be a lot of gossip, a lot of arguments, verbal conflicts. This is a debater, Gemini energy, spreading information, misinformation as well, mental burnout, starting too many things and not finishing anything, speaking before thinking, anxiety, and nervous energy. Okay. Gemini is all about media as well. So a lot of things in the form of media, your community, your siblings. Yeah, all that's going to be big. Now, who likes Mars and Gemini? Before we get into it, first of all, who doesn't like Mars and Gemini is Sagittarius. Okay, Sagittarius placements have an opposition to this. Doesn't quite get along with Sagittarius placements. Also doesn't get along with Virgo energy, and also doesn't get along with Pisces. So if you have any planets in those signs, Mars in Gemini is going to make you either overly restless or lack of energy, lack of drive, or a lot of opposition here. Okay. Now, who works really well with Mars and Gemini? Geminis, you'll have more of whatever the Gemini energy is. So it's very strong for you, but also air signs, Aquarius, very lovely and amazing for you. Libras, you love Mars and Gemini as well. Okay. You guys are thriving. There could be a lot of fighting in the air because Gemini does represent the air, or within communities, or within your neighborhoods, or fighting with siblings, more viral stories and social media controversies, rapid development in AI technology, any type of transportations like trains, bikes, skating, skateboards, increased focus on education. A major announcement about the public conversations as a whole, a lot of debating, podcasters, journalists, authors, publishers. Well, that's more Sagittarius, but all that comes into the limelight. It was something else I was going to say with Gemini, the rainbow. It could represent gay pride as well, because we are talking about the rainbow. That gets a little bit more Aquarius these days too. But yeah, things with siblings, but it was something else I was going to say and I forgot. But okay, anyway, but you're talking about the messenger. Now, this is from June 28th. Mars is in Gemini all the way to August 11th. Mars in Gemini is not a quiet transit. Mars wants action. Gemini wants information. Together, it creates a period of ideas, rapid conversations, powerful weapons as the voice as a weapon. Information itself becomes a source of conflict, momentum, and change. Now, Mars in Gemini is going to go through a lot of transits, and I'm going to break it down. Now, immediately I told you it's conjunct Uranus. And at the same time, there is a T square between the north and south node. Okay. This is okay. So that means that this is the big doozy. Okay. Mars conjunct Uranus is very spontaneous, very surprise with aggression, a lot of rebellion, a lot of power to the people, a lot of unpredictable, disruptive energy. Expect sudden developments, shocking announcements, unexpected news, technical breakthroughs, and collective wake up calls. Okay. This is fighting for a greater cause. This is fighting for the underdog. This is and not just fighting, but fighting with your words, fighting I just get ready for all the podcasters fighting, okay? All the people on YouTube are debaters, or people who are very vocal, fighting. Get ready for that. Maybe even fighting for writers, people who write. And again, siblings, even like fighting for a cause. Now, the T square suggests at the North and South node that these events is something karmic kind of quality. Our decisions are during a period where the future and the past is a huge thing. So something that's dealing with karma could be happening. Something that could be dealing with destiny. There is a lot of loss in the sauce. Not loss. Well, loss could be a part of it because of Pisces. But the focus is this energy here, and this is very weird. This is very sudden. This is a lot of surprises. It's like something being said on Twitter, and it's very, very unexpected. And is it something that's dealing with the karma? It's something that's not getting along with the past, not getting along with the future. Okay. But this could be restless breakthroughs, a desire for freedom, feeling called to take a different path, sudden changes in plans, a lot of anxiety, could be very viral. Again, protests, social unrest, major shifts in public narratives, unexpected conversations that changes everything. This could disrupt transportation. This could also be dealing with technology disruptions because things are moving too fast. And this is going to be dealing with more of the social media or the Tesla if you're dealing with your plug-in cars and you are talking about driving locally in your community. A lot of anxiety, impulsive decisions, information overload, could be a lot of arguments. Get ready for that, okay? And that is once Mars enters Gemini. June 28th, okay? Now on the 30th, Mars will be sextile Jupiter in Leo here. Well, Jupiter is not in Leo here, but it will be in Leo. So Mars will immediately sextile around June 30th, and then it will sextile Neptune in Aries, and I will actually happen once it enters Gemini, and then it will also trine Pluto in Aquarius. This makes a bold pattern, meaning that all this chaos is focused on one type of energy, like either external or internal, or the people or the home. Okay, it all depends on where it's placed in your chart, your natal chart personally. But just know that there is a huge shift focus on one side of a theme in your life, whether it's external or internal or public or at home. Okay, if that makes sense. After the chaos, well, not after the chaos, while it's conjunct Uranus, it starts to create this air and fire energy here. This is a powerful speeches, maybe influential media moments, leaders really talking, okay? Because you have this Jupiter energy, and I find that government and leaders and the power that be, they always use a sextile. Okay, sextile means that the energy's out there. If you use it, it works, and they will be using it. So this is a lot of major conversations and really putting it on blast. Large scale movements gaining momentum. AI could be having a breakthrough, or maybe there's a creative breakthrough happening. This is freedom of speech and that being taken away. Again, also rebelling. That also works really well. So, whoa, this makes me think that anyone who's going to try to have a um um what was I trying to? Okay, rebel. What is it? A boycott. Anyone who's boycotting or protesting is going to get somewhere with this energy here because this is very positive. Increased confidence, creative inspiration, strategic thinking, strong manifestation energy, taking action on long term energy. Also works good with AI and technology, social media platform, the intellect on social media, talking and fighting, and you actually get it through that algorithm there. Okay, that also works because Neptune in Aries is going to have people be compassionate with this. This is going to have you be bold and strong and courageous, and it actually works. So anyone who's trying to have a platform around June 30th, go ahead. Once Jupiter enters Leo, fight for it. Now, on the other end, the leader who wants to shut things down, there is opposition against the people, so that won't work for the leader, but it will work for the person who's fighting for the greater cause, or someone who's fighting with intellect or fighting with their words, or trying to have some clarity when it comes to their words, and when it comes to freedom of speech, when it comes to surveillance, when it comes to AI and technology, or something for the people. It works very well for that. Okay. Now, on the 9th of July, this is when, let me use my mouse actually. You guys, I was really cold. And I was like, why am I so cold? It's because my whole top, which I made it a top, it's actually a dress. And I can't believe I worn this out. It's sheer. And I was like, why am I so cold? It's because the whole thing is sheer. And I wore this as a dress out. That's crazy. The things that I do some days, it had to be around Leo season that I was doing it. Okay. Anyway, July 9th, Venus is going to enter Virgo. It's going to conjunct the South Node. So that's going to be interesting all its own, releasing a friendship of some sort. Anyway, but it's going to make a wide square to Mars that's sitting next to Uranus. So relationships begin to have a test. Maybe the communication styles, there's something said here and it needs to be releasing of the friend. Okay. Mars wants to have options. Venus and Virgo wants clarity. One wants to explore, the other wants answers. This is definitely a breakup of some sort because this also wants freedom for sure. This conjunction, relationship disagreements, mixed signals, communication frustrations, different expectations in love and friendship. Also, too, Venus represents our finances, so letting go of some money of some sort that deals with that's with the details or trying to be perfect. Also, too, this represents equilibrium, your balance, your harmony, and there could be an fighting for your harmony, and you want some freedom there of some sort, or you want something different and unique. And your harmony needs to, it's like you like something weird and you're fighting to be weird, and you're releasing that being perfect kind of energy. Okay. Are you communicating clearly or assuming others can read your mind? Okay. July 11th. The moon will be conjunct Mars. It will make it very emotional at the same, not very emotional, because Gemini moon, it's not emotional. It could be a little bit cold, but there's emotions with words. Okay. Speaking from emotion, heated discussions, a lot of important news. Power to the people, again, fighting for the people. July 25th, then it will be, the moon will be opposing in Sagittarius. That is more about the world. And Gemini deals with facts. And Sagittarius wants the meaning and philosophy. Again, political debates, worldly debates, a lot of things against the people, worldly kind of energy. Thinking you're right without really listening to the details or having some clarity there. Okay, on the 27th, the North Node will enter Aquarius of July. Let's put that on here. And we're still talking about Mars and Gemini and how it's going to affect everything. Okay, so the North Node will enter Aquarius, and Mars will be positive with the North Node. So Mars fighting and discussing things again online. Okay, also to Mars and Gemini is the prankster, the youth as well. So the youth and the prankster, are the person online who's very communicative, is working towards the future. This one is the most important for us future energy, especially for the summer. Mars and Gemini will activate communications. Aquarius, again, it rules air. A lot of things dealing with air, the sky, literal sky, even birds too. But Aquarius rules technology, innovation, networks, and collective progress. So new technical breakthroughs, maybe community building, future focus, thinking. Again, it works great with astrology, this energy here, and talking and using astrology to fight with some things. A lot of collaborations too here. Great with friendships too. Getting things done and feeling motivated with that works really good with that. July 30th, Venus will in Virgo will hit 20 degrees exactly. So a little bit before that, but while that's happening towards the end of July, it's going to, again, frustrations with the friendship, passion and conflict, relationship negotiations. Again, this could represent law or something dealing with finances, and there's a conflict here. Criticism versus being defensive. Yeah, things are being said and being perfect. Miss Perfect doesn't like it. Okay. August 11th, Mars will enter. Um, Mars will enter Cancer. August 11th, and things change and it'll be more emotional. And Mars doesn't like to be in Cancer, but that's a whole nother story. Anyway, but I do want to say when did his Mercury stop retrograding? I think when it hits 26 degrees. 2 weeks after Mars stops retrograding, which you see here stops retrograding um, July 23rd, Mars will get better. Okay, even though we'll have some other stuff dealing, like with the moon, the Sagittarius moon. But I think around the 26th degree, so around August 6th or 7th, then it will really be working its best too. Really saying things you want to say. Yeah, so let's talk about the full moon. Mm, we have the full moon. Oh, wait. Before we talk about the full moon, actually, let me pull some cards for Mars and Gemini. Mars and Gemini, what do we have? Mars and Gemini, what do we have? We have a few cards here. Ooh, we have love is in the air. You guys, they are doing construction where I live. It drives me insane. I keep saying I'm going to take this ship and be at the beach and like take all my stuff and do this live at the beach. I need to do that. I would feel more peaceful. So maybe I will do that anyway. But Mars and Gemini is going to bring a lot of love for a lot of people. This doesn't mean like love and relationships. This could be compassion and love because remember we did have this bold pattern happening here. A lot of storm emotions here. A lot of conflict, thunder, sudden things. Thunder represents sudden. Chaos, disruptions is where the one I want to say, not chaos. A lot of rehabilitation. So a lot of people resting, rehealing. Rehabilitation means healing and getting, yeah, just healing. Okay. Rehabilitate. All right. That will be happening for a lot of people with Mars and Gemini. Okay. So let's talk